Michigan Out of Doors Online is brought to you in part by Mr. Muskie Charters, offering full-service guided fishing trips for walleye, muskie, bass, and sturgeon on Lake St. Clair and the Detroit and St. Clair rivers. Booking information is online at mrmuskiecharters.com. Hey everybody, welcome to Michigan Out of Doors. Thank you so much for joining us this week. And I know I say this a lot, but what a great time of the year to be a sportsman here in the state of Michigan. The morels are popping, the walleye are in the river, and the turkeys are gobbling. We have a lot of good stuff on this week's show, actually a little bit of all of that. We're going to show you a really good Detroit River walleye fishing story with Jenny, Gabe, and Jordan. They were all down there together. And we're going to show you my turkey hunt from last week. I was able to harvest a nice bird, and we have a few different hunts to show you actually. And then we're going to do a turkey recipe on this week's show. Our good friend Jim Wood is going to show us kind of a new way to do turkey. Lots of good stuff on this week's program. And stay tuned towards the end because we're going to show you kind of a hot topic here in the state of Michigan is this right here. Are these legal to use here in the state of Michigan? You might be surprised. It's not that easy of a question to answer. Lots of good stuff on this week's show. You stay tuned. I'm Jimmy Gretzinger. It's time for Michigan Out of Doors.
From the first spring rains to the soft summer breeze, dancing on the pine forest floor, the autumn colors catch your eyes. Here come the crystal winter skies. It's Michigan, Michigan out of doors. Someday our children all will see this is their finest legacy, the wonder and the love of Michigan. As the wind comes whispering through the trees, the sweet smell of nature's in the air. From the Great Lakes to the quiet stream, shining like a sportsman's dream, it's a love of Michigan we all share.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Country Smokehouse. Offering a variety of meat products, Country Smokehouse is located 3 miles south of I-69 and M53, just south of Imlay City. Country Smokehouse is a meat processor, a butcher, and a destination for sportsmen. By Angler Quest Pontoons, a mid-Michigan company building boats for fishermen by fishermen. Angler Quest Pontoons are designed for comfort and functionality. On the web at anglerquestpontoons.com.
We all have one, that perfect spot, a special place we go to smooth out the ripples of the day. Our perfect spot is calling. Our perfect spot is pure Michigan. Your trip begins at michigan.org.
Michigan-based Vanguard has manufactured optics, hunting packs, and accessories for over 30 years. Discover all of our most recent innovations at vanguardworld.us.
The 2017 early turkey season really couldn't have started any better. After watching my wife arrow a nice tom opening morning, I was able to capture a first-time turkey hunter taking his first bird a few days later.
Good shot, good shot.
After getting a couple of successful hunts on camera, I was excited to hit the woods myself to try and film my tag.
Well, it's Sunday morning. It's a beautiful morning. We got a bird gobbling at about 120 yards. It's cold, calm. I roosted this bird last night. He had one hen with him, so hopefully we'll have a decent chance. We got a couple decoys out. He's gobbling like crazy and he's not very far, so hopefully we get lucky and he comes in here to the decoys. We'll see. Well, we're back at it here on that same bird we hunted yesterday. I moved about 150 yards along the edge of the woods where he was when we saw him both times yesterday. He's in here again. He's gobbling pretty good, but it's a little bit of a tricky setup over here. I'm not sure which way he's going to take, so we're going to sit tight and hopefully he sees some decoys and wants to come right in here. We'll see.
Well, everything went according to plan on this hunt, except the longbeard never showed up. These two jakes put on quite a show and stayed in the decoys for over 10 minutes. A few days later, I was back at it and had a nice tom within range that just needed to take a few more steps for the camera. I only needed this tom to take a few more steps to the right, but of course he walked off to the left. The next morning, Jimmy and I hit the woods together, hoping to fill both of our tags.
Okay, well, this is some of my favorite times to hunt turkeys, when you're down to like a day or two left, because kind of anything goes. So we're gonna try to get something on camera. Both Jordan and I have a tag in our pocket. There's only a couple days left in our early season. So jakes are on the table for me. Anything, if it's got a beard, it's gonna be going down. So I'm excited about hunting today. Had to get my kids on the bus this morning, so I missed the roost hunt. But we're kind of mid-morning right now. A lot of times they'll kind of break up after that first kind of couple hours in the day. So we should be sitting in a pretty good spot. We're on a spot here that Jordan's hunted over the years. Hold some birds. We're gonna kind of run and gun and see what we can do. And so, a day or so left in the season. I'm ready to pull the trigger.
After hearing a gobble from the truck, we quickly set up, and after a long back and forth, we had a group of longbeards working their way in.
Well, nice job, cameraman.
That was a bomb.
Yes, that is why you have a gun that can shoot 50 yards. It had to be right around 50. The way we were set up with this, it's a beautiful spot here. This creek is coming through here. We didn't think we could get across the creek. We knew we probably weren't gonna get the birds to fly over the creek. So our best bet was to call them. They moved several hundred yards. Finally got right down here to about 50. And that was all. They weren't going to come any closer. Oh, what a fun hunt. Those birds gobbled so well, and they worked and worked and worked and came all the way in. And this is the last day that I can turkey hunt. So, man, what a great hunt. And there appear to be 3 longbeards, but you know what? Had they been jakes, I'd have been just as happy. It was a great hunt and a beautiful spot. It's actually fairly cool this morning. It's just perfect. The turkey woods are just perfect.
Well, that was a pretty cool turkey hunt. But sometimes it's hard to kind of relay that in the video world. We walked about 50 yards from the truck, got one to gobble. These birds, you know, for being 10 o'clock, they must have gobbled, I don't know, 75 times.
Quite a few.
Or more. I mean, they were gobbling like crazy, and sometimes the terrain just doesn't allow you to get where you need to be. We needed to be across the creek, but there's just no way for us to cross it without being seen, so we had to settle for this spot, which is absolutely gorgeous, but it made for a long shot. Jimmy made a heck of a shot. That bird was at least 50 yards, so made a good shot, got that bird. We tried to call the other ones. They hung around for a minute, but I wasn't able to get another bird. But it's early, so we got a lot of hunting left to do, and hopefully we can get another bird. But man, that was a lot of fun.
That was great. Let's see what we got here. All right, I think we're dealing with a 2-year-old bird. Nice little spurs on him. Let's see what he's got for a... Ooh, he's got a pretty good rope on him. Good grief. I'm gonna guess that at 11. I'll have to get the tape measure out. They must have grown big over here in Ionia County. Oh, look at that. Man.
What a fun morning. Thanks, Jordan. I got to call one in. The cameraman extraordinaire, we almost pulled off a double. It was just a long poke. And once I shot and Jordan got his gun up, it was at least another 5 paces. And I think that tree was 74, so we're probably about 60-ish. But that, I mean, when you pattern your gun out to 50 yards, I know exactly what it does at 50, 55. And that's about the range on it. And that's what the situation called for today. What a great hunt. Those birds gobbled their head off, came in slow. We thought they had some hens with them. A perfect day in the turkey woods. Good grief. Thanks, big fella.
With one bird down, we carried on. And although we did have some very close encounters, including calling in the 2 toms that were with Jimmy's when he shot, we just weren't quite able to get it done. However, I did film my tag the following morning, but not on camera. It was a great early turkey season here in southern Michigan, and I'm looking forward to getting back behind the camera for the late season.
Well, hey, we are here again at Antlers Fireside Grill in Canadian Lakes. We're here with Jim Wood. We're gonna make things a little bit more challenging for you this week. Jim's gonna let me do a little bit of the cooking. He's gonna be the coach. And we brought some of the ingredients this week. Jordan brought some fresh morels. I brought some wild turkey that was just harvested last week. So Jim, how do we start? What are we gonna do here today?
Well, first of all, we're gonna make it so easy that Jimmy Gretzinger can do it.
There you go, that's good.
I'm confident everybody at home is gonna be able to do this.
Yes, so we got a little butter going now.
Yep, and we've got some turkey breast that we sliced and then we beat a little bit to tenderize it and make it thinner, so it's gonna cook a little quicker. So once we get our pan up to temp, about medium heat here. Okay. You're gonna take and you're gonna salt both sides of this.
All right.
We're also gonna add some white pepper to the one side.
Okay. And then we're going into the flour?
Yep, we're gonna go into the flour. And you're gonna wanna add your next piece because we wanna pretty much add it all at the same time.
Okay. Any trick here, or is this just about right?
That's good. Yep.
All 3?
This is just a light coating.
And this is just regular flour.
This is cake flour, which is going to give a little crisper, not as thick as all-purpose flour.
Okay. Is that good?
All right, yeah. Now, your pan is just kind of barely starting to smoke here, so we're going to back the temp up.
Okay.
Or down, I should say. And you're going to take it and get all the flour off it and just add it right to the butter.
Going away from you.
Away from you, yes. Wow, the student becomes a teacher.
And this is just a couple minutes per side here?
Yeah, basically. You want to get a good brown on it. So
okay.
You're gonna be playing with the temperature a lot. So basically, once you start to get, as you see it starts to cook up a little bit, so you're almost cooking it 2/3 of the way on one side.
Okay.
So you're gonna let it sit here for another 30 seconds maybe.
And this is kind of a medium to medium-high heat?
Yeah, it's about medium-high heat, I would say.
Okay.
These butane burners can be kind of fidgety. The ones that you're going to use at your house, you should be able to control it a lot easier.
Okay. We ready yet?
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. We're close. I can tell you're ready.
And don't move them around.
Nope, don't move them around. Nope.
Wow.
Like a little kid the night before 4th of July. Fireworks tomorrow.
Well, there are morels and turkey nearby.
That's true. That's true.
Very springish.
All right, you can go ahead and give her a flip now.
Once you flip the turkey, you'll need to cook it for another minute or so until it's just about done. To start the sauce, add some more butter to your pan, followed by your mushrooms and onions. Next, add Madeira, which is similar to Marsala, and salt the dish. After that cooks down, it's time to add in the chicken stock.
Now, do you do a lot of stuff with morels here at the restaurant?
We do. A lot more with morel powder. So dried morels has been pulverized, and then we'll reconstitute it and make sauces and things like that with it. This time of the year, we will. They're just starting to come out. So.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right, so now that you have that, you can add your Dijon mustard here. And this is about 3/4 of a tablespoon. And you're going to take and just kind of lightly whisk that in.
Like that.
All right. Now you're gonna add a little bit of cream.
The whole thing?
I wouldn't add the whole thing. You're gonna add about a half a cup. All right, so now we can take and we can add, right here is just some fresh thyme.
Okay.
So we'll just add that to the pan. And
Just to finish here.
Nope, that's gonna be the garnish.
Okay.
So now you can take and you can add your turkey.
Back in?
Yep, and what this is gonna do is it's gonna thicken the stock up and it's gonna cook the rest of the turkey and keep it warm.
Wow, this really smells good. Okay, so we're gonna attempt the plating here. And Jim, what is the official name of this dish?
We're just gonna call it Michigan turkey with Michigan morels.
Well, this is kind of one of the cool things about jigging in the spring. This is blade bait fishing down on Lake Erie. And it's really cool because while everybody's fighting the crowds up in the Detroit River, we're out here and there's not many people down here. So I just love this kind of fishing. Fishing shallow water, 10 feet of water, and there's not really a better fighting walleye than these blade bait fish, so it's a lot of fun. All right.
Woohoo!
First one of the day.
There we go, yeah. All right. Nice, that's a nice size walleye.
Sweet. Man, that's a good one.
Woohoo! Good deal. Hey, Gabe, you kind of actually know what you're doing out here.
Not really. You just got good friends. Tell you where the fish are.
Yeah. So Captain J is not far away.
Captain J, yes. That is a good eater. Man,
Heck yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's a fish dinner.
Fun, fun.
I like it. Let's
I'm
get him in the live well.
We just need a few more now, eh?
Absolutely. This spring has been a bugger for the wind on the big lake, and this day was no exception. High winds from the west wouldn't have been a problem for us if we weren't trying to videotape, so we put the boat on the trailer and made our way up to the Detroit River to salvage the day of fishing. Here's what they look like. Had to make a little move and reposition over here on the Detroit River because it's getting a little bit too wet. A little bit too sporty out on the big lake, so it's hard to shoot with the microphones and everything we got and the wind, so moved over here to the river. There we go.
No means an expert down here in Detroit River, but it's been kind of a weird year. I always get down here a couple of times, and usually you got a good week or so that you got some big females in here, and it's nothing to come down and you jig up 7, 8, 9 pound fish, even bigger. This year's been really weird. It's like we missed that whole big push of females, or they came in high water when it wasn't very fishable, and just haven't seen those numbers. So for the last week, 10 days down here, it's been all males. There's just a ton of males in here, which are great for eater fish. You know, you're getting those 16 to 20 inch fish, a whole bunch of them. This is my second time down here this week, and both times we've got our limit in a few hours. So the fishing's been good. The company's good. Jimmy's not here with us today. He was down here, but we're having a good time and catching fish, so all is well.
Wish we could find some females, but not a bad eater. Oh, when you're jigging, it's all about a vertical presentation. So we're using a trolling motor up front, got a motor guide. They're actually a Michigan-based company here, and fishing with short, heavy action rods. You got to have a good rod with very good sensitivity. So we're fishing with only a 5.5 foot rod, which is kind of short for rods, but it's perfect for this jigging setup. And you're feeling the bottom, bouncing off bottom. One thing I see people do is they don't use a heavy enough jig, and it doesn't really matter. We can use a 1 ounce jig in 20 feet of water and still catch fish. A lot of times I do that for my son. He's a little younger, he has a hard time feeling the bottom, so I'll put a big jig on there for him, and he catches just as many fish as anybody else. So it's kind of a misconception that you need a lightweight jig for skinny water and a heavy jig for deep water. Obviously you need a heavy jig for deep water, but you don't necessarily need to switch all the time. As long as you can feel the bottom, that's the part you really need to do, is make sure you feel the bottom on every jig. All right, we're gonna give Jenny one more chance to redeem herself. She's knocked off about a half a dozen fish for me so far today. Nice. Getting closer to the limit. Need a couple more. Not a bad little eater-sized fish. Been doing all the work today, but I'm getting to do a little fishing too, so it's a lot of fun out here.
What a fun day we're having out here. We're just having a blast. It's fun hanging out with Jordan and Gabe. I don't get to see these guys very often. And one of my favorite kinds of fishing is jigging. And jigging for walleyes is the best. So I am having a lot of fun out here. I mean, trolling's okay too. Ice fishing, super fun. But jigging up some walleyes in the Detroit River is absolutely a blast. And it's fun just razzing each other out here. We've been ripping on each other just like brothers and sisters would, and that kind of makes it even more fun. So having a good day. But this is fun. This is my first time out on the river this year, and I'm having fun. Good company, good fishing action, semi-good captain, I guess. All right, what do you think, Gabe? You gonna make it?
I'd chuck it. You want a fish sandwich?
He's that same, must be that same age, 14 and a half. All right, going in.
The river is on fire right now with lots of males to be caught. In no time, the live well was full.
She almost threw it over. That's our limit right there. Boy, it's been a fun day.
There's no better outdoor experience than those shared with good friends. Great fishing on the Big D is just a bonus.
All right, nice. That's a nice size walleye.
Everybody, thank you so much for watching Michigan Out of Doors this week. Now, over the next several weeks here in the show, we're going to have lots of good springtime activity, so make sure that you are joining us. And if you do miss it on your PBS station, you can always check us out online at michiganoutofdoorstv.com. We have full episodes of the show there. And if you do the Facebook thing, we're on there as well, letting you know where we're at and what's going on around the state of Michigan. Now, I mentioned this at the beginning of the show, but we wanted to talk about this decoy right here. Now, using this here in the state of Michigan is called fanning, or it's called reaping. And basically what you do is you use this as a way to sneak up and stalk turkeys. Now, is this legal here in the state of Michigan? That has been a really hot topic. And so I recently purchased one of these and was going to use it this year. Had some friends of mine tell me, no, those are not legal. So I called a conservation officer buddy of mine and he said, yes, they are legal. And then just a couple of weeks ago, I was listening to Mike Avery's radio program and he was talking with Dave Painter, another conservation officer, who said, no, that they are illegal because the way that the rule is written here in the state of Michigan is that you can't use any kind of string on a decoy to manually move your decoy. Well, the question was whether this falls into manually moving a decoy and whether this is legal or not legal. Well, I guess there was quite a bit of discussion in Lansing, a several-hour meeting, I guess, and really the way the rule is for this year is fanning or reaping, which is called here in the state of Michigan, is illegal. You cannot use these if you're going to be stalking up to turkeys, and that's what you would typically do with these, is get behind this and then stalk towards the turkeys in a field or crawl and use this to kind of mask your movement. That is illegal for this year here in the state of Michigan. Now, whether they'll change it going forward, I don't know. Now, the interesting thing is these are legal to use if you use it as a blind. So if you set this up and are not moving, if it's stationary, anchored to the ground, then it is like any other blind and is legal. So whether your conservation officer is going to let you off the hook or not, I wouldn't really push my luck. So that is now whether that'll change for next year, we'll see. But for this year, if you still have a turkey tag and you're hunting here in the late season and hunt 234, it's illegal to use these if you are crawling or walking towards a bird. So there you have it. We're going to have a lot of good stuff over the next couple of weeks here on Michigan Out of Doors. And if we don't see it in the woods or on the water, hopefully we'll see you right back here next week on your PBS station.
Michigan Out of Doors is presented by Greenstone Farm Credit Services, making recreational land ownership possible across Michigan and northeast Wisconsin. Begin your land financing journey at one of Greenstone's 37 locations or visit greenstonefcs.com. By the Michigan Wildlife Council, using scientifically based wildlife management methods like breeding and restocking Michigan lakes and waters with native fish species to ensure they'll continue to thrive and be here for generations. Learn how Michigan manages wildlife at hereformi.org. By the Michigan chapters of Safari Club International. For over 40 years, SCI has been protecting hunters' rights and promoting wildlife conservation here in Michigan and around the world. SCI chapter locations can be found on the web at firstformichigan.org. By Pictured Rocks Boat Cruises of Munising, exploring Lake Superior's Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. With its sandstone cliffs, caves, waterfalls, and lighthouses, Pictured Rocks Boat Cruise is on the web at picturedrocks.com. Closed captioning provided by Marvo Mineral, makers of Lucky Buck, deer management products including minerals to supplement deer diets year-round to improve health and antler growth.
When I wander far away, a dream stays with me night and day. It's the road that leads to my home state. I am a Michigan man. Changing seasons paint the scene like rainbow trout in a hidden stream. The white-tailed deer in the tall pine trees. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love this land. I am a Michigan man. From the Keweenaw down to St. Joe, Kalamazoo, east to Monroe, to St. Marie and back again. I am a Michigan man. I am a Michigan man. Ask where I'm from and I'll show you my hands. Lord above, I love